Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks, and this is Fan Art Friday. I'm getting started a little later than usual, so this may go up later, especially since if you live in the U.S., I assume it's just a U.S. thing, but we have this thing called Daylight Savings Time, and it's where everyone kind of moves up an hour, except for where I live. So usually I'm in Mountain Time, but now I'm on Pacific Time because in Arizona where I live they don't make that switch. So most of the country is a little later than I am right now. And usually sometimes I even like to, if I can, I'd like to do these on Thursdays, but I couldn't do it yesterday. We had a 100 days of making comics art hangout. And if you're familiar with that, then you will know that it's just where you take 30 minutes a day to work on your own personal comic book project. Then you do blog about it or vlog about it or whatever you want. And so that's what that is. So this is the first time we've actually got just because we've done art hangouts before, like the Artcasters and stuff, but this was kind of just exclusively to the people that are either taking the challenge or have completed it or whatever. And each of us are going to host a different one. So Kevin Cross, who started it, he hosted first. I'm going to host next, and then we'll just kind of rotate like that. So we'll have it on different people's channels. So hopefully introduce other people to the different folks that are doing the challenge. So as you can see today, or hopefully you can see if I've got a decent enough interpretation here, and I'm not really so much a portrait artist, but hopefully you can gather that this is Daenerys. Is it Targaryen? The names, man, they throw me. I know it's Daenerys, and from Game of Thrones, or Khaleesi, which means queen in her language. So that's what I'm working on today. I'm going to do a few different Game of Thrones sketch cards here. I don't know how far I'll get with them as far as if I'll add color or anything. But we'll find out. We'll find out either if my camera shuts off on me again. I deleted some more stuff off of it. So we'll see. Or if we just if it starts going long, but we'll do what we can here. So yeah, I've been kind of catching up on Game of Thrones. I don't know if the new series has started, the new season, but I don't have HBO, so I just have to wait till they come out on DVD, and they usually don't release them on the previous season on DVD until the new season's about to air. So it just came out a month or so ago, and I have Netflix, the streaming, but I also have the one where they send you the DVDs, so I'm getting those in the mail, and I don't know how, but I have, so far I have managed to stay spoiler free for a year, which is almost impossible. I don't know how I did it, but I've managed it, so I'm just a few episodes in right now, so but I'm anxious to watch it. I've had the new DVD sitting on my counter for a little bit, but I've just been busy. I haven't had time to really watch or anything. Went out for dinner yesterday. My girlfriend's parents, it was their anniversary. Now, for whatever reason, they invited us to go along. It's like, well, it's your anniversary, But so we went out, kind of had a nice dinner. That was fun. Yeah, what else? I've just been trying to go out and do stuff because you just get so busy with work, and then it's like I just don't want it to consume me. So we're gonna head up to Tucson this weekend to go to the Tucson Festival of Books, which is kind of like a big outdoor event. A bunch of authors there, but people selling different things, almost kind of like a Comic Con in a way. I mean, I don't know if it's as like geek central as centric as an actual Comic Con, but I want to check it out because I do. It's something I want to exhibit at, and I don't know what the criteria is as far as if you have to be selling books. I mean, I've got comic books, and I know those count, but I've only got a couple issues. So, but from what I hear from people I know that exhibit there, then that's fine. But I've been wanting to do it. I just haven't been able to fit it in my schedule. I mean, as far as exhibiting there. So, um, I'm not gonna exhibit. I'm just going to check it out, and then hopefully next year I'll be able to do that. So I've been having like issues with my inks. If you watched a few of these before, I've had some problems with them smudging, and what really sucks is, and I talk about this each time. So, but for anyone that's new, I've been using Deleter Black number 5, and so far it's like my favorite ink I've ever worked with because it just seems to go on so smooth, and it works well with the Copic markers. It doesn't smudge or anything. But I started to get, like, I don't know, it was getting on my hands. I think what it boils down to, I just got to be a little more careful. I might be getting a little lax and careless as far as going over ink that's not totally dry. I mean, it dries pretty quickly, but for whatever reason, it's I'm just getting smudges, and I thought maybe it had something to do with the ink, but then I went and I tried my FW, which is an artist acrylic ink, and that's kind of my second favorite, but it's a little thick, and it's sometimes with the blue pencils that I use, because they're a little waxy, it doesn't always cover the lines that great. So when I found the Deleter, I was like super excited about it, but then I was getting like these smudges. But again, I think it's just me starting to get a little careless, so I'm trying to be a little more careful, and use use a sheet of paper under my hand, because I'm noticing it. I'll get like some stuff on my hand, and it smudges. So, which I don't remember ever having that problem before, but with these videos, since I'm trying to go a little quicker and stuff, that might be the problem. And I also I went to the regular Black Magic, which I don't know, it's okay. It just doesn't have as much. The darks aren't as great, and you kind of never know. It's like Forrest Gump said, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you get when you buy that ink, because you could get a good batch, or you could get some watered down stuff. So yeah, I've been wanting to do some Game of Thrones stuff for a little while. I really wanted to do like a full like drawing of Daenerys with a dragon or whatever, and I might still do that, but I was kind of ill prepared for this today, so we got to do something a little simpler and just do some sketch cards, which are fun. People seem to like them, and a lot of people collect the sketch cards and stuff like that. I don't really sell them, and I'm not really interested so much as getting on a sketch card set or anything. It's I think it's real difficult to actually make that profitable, from what I hear. I mean, there's people that do it and everything, but I try to me, and this is just for me. I don't want to say it's my personal opinion, but as far as for me, I kind of just do fan art for fun. I don't really make an effort to sell it. Sometimes I'll bring them with me at a show and just have them out there, and if somebody wants them, they can pick up the originals, but I usually don't print them up or anything like that. And I've done some, I've sold some, like, and gave the money to, like, good causes or whatever, and things like that. Like Peter Palmiotti's thing, the GoFundMe that he's running. I think I've mentioned that before on Fan Art Friday. I'll have to remember to put a link in the show notes here. But I assume it's still active. But yeah, I've sold a couple, a few sketch cards, and that Iron Giant one that I did on the Fan Art Friday, I sold that. So I mean, if somebody's interested, we can. I'm still willing to sell these and donate them to Peter's campaign. So that is an option. But I'm trying to I've got some ideas for like some of my prints. If you haven't seen those at circworks.com, the stuff I do on there is a little different. It's kind of more it's got a little more graphic design to it. They're like posters, and they're kind of sort of retro future looking. I'm not sure if I really like her chin the way it is. It's kind of I don't know if I can change that now. It might just have to be what it is. It's not what I intended, but the problem is when you do stuff real loose like this, maybe if I add a shadow under her chin, it might help. I'll just kind of do that. I don't know if she would really cast that much of a shadow like on her hair, but I think that might help out a little. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, but so anyway, so I've got some ideas for some prints I want to design and get some stuff ready for Phoenix Comic Con. I had a little extra time this week. I was, I had a little bit of a hiatus from one of the projects I was working on, so I was hoping to get more done. So, but it looks like it might be starting back up again real quick. So we'll see. Okay, so I think I'll call Daenerys. Well, let me just do a little on her ear here. A little thicker. So I'm going to call her done as far as the inks, and let's move on to another Game of Thrones character. Let's do. Let's see. I've got a couple here. Got a White Walker here, which these are the guys that kind of I don't really know what their motives are, what they're all about. I have I don't know anything about like the books or anything like that, but these guys are pretty evil. They're kind of like these snow zombie type guys. But we get a pretty cool design. Just the idea of a snow zombie, that's kind of an interesting concept. And so yeah, I probably should do some of these where I actually draw them. I usually pencil them out first, and I know a lot of people want to see the actual drawing, so I should do more like that. But it's weird because I'm always part of the reason why I don't do that, other than just trying to save some time, is because sometimes when you draw stuff, it's just not working for you. You have to scrap it and start over. It takes a little while to get it right. But so I did these before off camera, but really they did kind of come together fairly easily. I didn't have any problems with them, so I probably should not be too nervous about that in the future and just start illustrating. There's been a few where I've done that, where I've actually done the pencils, but I haven't heard anyone complain. But if you guys would rather, me see more maybe pencils and then inks, and then, because I don't know if I could do a whole one with pencils, inks, and color and keep it down, unless I do a speed up and do a voiceover. And I haven't done that yet. It's still on my list of things to figure out how to do. I don't know if you guys know if you can do. I assume you can do that in like Windows Movie Maker. I assume there's a way to do a narration over existing video, because that's what I'm using now. I do want to get something a little more robust, something that's just probably just as easy to use as Windows Movie Maker, but a little more robust as far as what it can do. Because there's things that I just can't do in Windows Movie Maker, even though I really do like the program, just because it's very easy to use, and it's in all its simplicity. It's just a good program, I think, but it has its limitations. So this guy should be fun to color. I might try to color like just one of them, and then maybe just post the rest of them on Instagram. So if you guys want to see the color version, you can check those out. We'll see how far along I get. I seem to be moving pretty fast, and I haven't smudged yet. It's also easier with these sketch cards not to smudge because the cards are so big. Because like I said, it's usually me resting my hand. So I'm not having to rest my hand on the card because it's so small. I can do it off the card space. But what I was saying about I was talking about watching these on DVD and everything, and I think HBO. I heard that they're doing something where you can actually, they want to make it so you can actually subscribe to HBO without cable, which might be interesting. But what I'm wondering is if I can like subscribe to it while Game of Thrones is on and then cancel my subscription after it's over, which is kind of bad, but I don't know. I have a feeling a lot of other people would want to do that, so they probably have some way to make it so you can't do that. I don't know. But yeah, it's like a lot of the DVDs that I get through Netflix. Yeah, it's just like people, you know, especially I guess the younger crowd. They're like, what DVDs? That's like ancient. Which, I mean, I understand. I mean, it makes sense that you can just download something, digitally and not have the actual disc and all that. But what I don't understand is, I mean, I forgot what I paid for that thing, but it's like cheaper to actually like rent with the disc rather than rent like sometimes it's still like $5 or something just to rent a digital copy, and that just seems crazy to me because I mean that's what Blockbuster was charging back when it was around. But now there's no actual physical thing. I mean, so you think it would be less money, which I don't. That doesn't make sense. And yeah, kind of when it was weird because when Blockbuster kind of started to go under, I didn't really shed any tears or anything because I thought they had such a racket going. Because like when DVDs first came out, they were like super expensive. I mean, a DVD or not a DVD, but VHS even when they first came out. I mean, it was like 150, some odd dollars to buy a video cassette. I mean, they weren't priced to own. So, I mean, it made sense to get their money back that they would have to rent those things for, $5 or whatever a pop. But then they started pricing video cassettes and then later DVDs to own. And, you could buy one for, under $20, but yet they're still renting them for $5. That didn't make sense at all. I mean, you think the prices would have went down. So I always thought they were milking me. So I'm like, why would I rent a movie for $5 when I can go to the store and buy it for $15? But now that's not even out. It's kind of like now I kind of miss like Blockbuster because you've got like the red boxes and stuff like that, but they don't have a very decent selection. And even like Dish on or well whatever on demand, I guess, whatever service you have, but on demand, even with those, they don't have every movie that you'd want to watch, and it's just hard to find. Sometimes you just got to go track them down and buy them. I don't know. It's like kind of in a weird situation now where there's like nothing. There's like something's lacking, it's cool that you can just download a movie like that, but I think your selection is kind of limited. So that's why, I mean, I like the DVDs that you can get from Netflix because they pretty much have most DVDs that have been made available. So, but like if you don't actually watch them, because sometimes I'll get them and I don't get around to watching them, and it could end up, costing more than if I could, you know, buy them or rent them or elsewhere or something. So I don't know. Something to think about, I guess. So they've kind of got this one should be fun to kind of when I get around to coloring it, because they've got this like just cold death breath or something that you know comes out of their mouths. Just anytime these guys show up, they don't show up often, but when they do, it's like, oh man, something bad's gonna happen. It's not like, Walking Dead where it's like they just do their best to shoehorn those zombies into every episode. I don't think there's been one without zombies because some people must just, I mean, really the zombies are, I mean, I'm not going to argue the zombies in Walking Dead are cool and everything, but that's not really to me what makes the show. It's it's the characters and everything. So, but like if they're in a place and they're talking and everything, somebody eventually has to go outside. Like if they're in a community or something, someone eventually has to go outside and kill some zombies just so every episode has zombies in it. It just seems like, okay, yeah. When are they going to go away from where they are now and go kill zombies just to show zombies? Which, I mean, I'm not, personally, I don't mind. If there's one or two episodes with there's no zombies in them, I'm not going to freak out, but I think a lot of people would. Because I've seen a couple of those episodes of that show that's on afterwards, The Talking Dead, and they've got of course they do best zombie kill, so I guess they couldn't do that segment if they didn't have zombies in it. So I don't know. So there's a White Walker from Game of Thrones, and let's do one more. Let's do Tyrion Lannister, the Peter Dinklage character. This is probably my favorite character because he's so, I don't want to say conniving because he's not. In a way, he is. He's not really a bad guy. He's his family or the family is from, and they don't really care for him much because he's a little person, but they're so it's kind of this weird thing with him that he's kind of looked down upon, but he still has all the a lot of the benefits being from this wealthy family, the ruling family and everything. But just the way he's able to manipulate and get his way, he's just real. I don't know the words I'm looking for, but he's probably my favorite character, so hopefully he'll stick around. No spoilers. I don't know anything about anyone's fate other than what I've already seen, but you never know with this show. It's like if there's ever a show where nobody is safe, it's probably this one, because the writers like to kill people off, and it doesn't matter who they are. And usually, unfortunately, a lot of times it's the good guys that get killed. Very rarely does like the bad guys do. So it's like, but yeah, he's in this movie. Peter Dinklage is in a movie called A Station Agent, which I've heard is great, and it's been sitting like on my queue of like things to get to, but I haven't got to it yet. So that's one. And then he's also in, I don't know if it's come out yet. If it did, it must have bombed because I heard about it, but I don't think it's come out. But this movie, I think it's called Pixels, and I guess it's about these aliens that come down, and I guess they get transmissions of old like 80s video games, and so somehow they think that those are like military things, or you know, that they're actually Earth is trying to attack them with these video games, so they actually attack us. So the only ones that can help us are like these video game players, like 80s video game players. So I don't know if you've ever seen that documentary King of Kong, but there's this guy, what's this, Billy something, Billy, I forgot his name. I don't know. But I don't know if I don't know if they just kind of edit it this way or what, but he just comes off as this total jerk. Um, and which made that's kind of what made the movie so great, but just real cocky and like just, but I think the character that Peter Dinklage plays in this movie is based on that character, so that should be fun. So I might actually check that out. You never know with some of these comedies if they're going to be stupid or like really funny. I like the premise, but I thought there was a movie that something like that came out a while ago. I can't remember who was in it, but I don't know if it was some kind of aliens, but it wasn't. I don't think it had anything to do with video games per se. There's so many things that come out, and I'm like, well, maybe I should check that out, and then I just totally forget about it. You got very strong, like, cheekbones and stuff on this guy. I didn't really notice that until I started. It's funny, you don't notice certain aspects of a person until you're trying to kind of capture their likeness. I like drawing, like, especially when people have these real, this big, like, tufts of hair and kind of hair that kind of goes all over the place and stuff like that. It's like when I do my comic book, a lot of the characters, because it's in the 70s, the hair's kind of longer and bushier and everything like that. So I kind of like drawing that stuff. Get some armor there. Yeah, these would be fun to do. I used to do these like full body, kind of a little more cartoony than this, um, drawings, but I haven't done any recently. I'd like to get back to doing that. They kind of had like big giant hands, and like they didn't really have elbows or knees. They were just kind of get had these like spaghetti type legs, but it was kind of a fun style to work in. But I haven't really done any of those in a while. I did some of the first ones I did on that. I did like Kiss, and I did the basic four original members of Kiss, and then a couple afterwards that had there were before they took off their makeup the first time. There were a couple other designs for some of the newer members that, so I did those guys too, and that was I kind of like those. Those are ones I don't know if I'd ever, if anyone wanted to part with them. I just kind of like them the way they turned out. I don't know why exactly, but that was kind of a fun style to work in. Let's see. But speaking of like different characters, I mention this all the time, but I'm always open to like requests and things. If you guys know of anyone that you'd like to see me illustrate, either as a sketch card or maybe as like more of a like a full body, like an action pose or something like that, just let me know. I still have that big list from Saphira that I could go back to, I guess. I think Game of Thrones were probably on that list, to be honest. But every once in a while somebody will give me a request and it's like, oh, that's perfect. I didn't even think about that. Like the Iron Giant, that was one of them because I love Iron Giant, but for whatever reason I never thought of drawing it. And then so I did that version, and then I see if you've been watching, if you guys watch Jeff Lafferty's videos, he did just wrapped up an Iron Giant, man. It came out awesome. Because it was like, you know, it's a different take that I'm used to seeing, because usually, you know, Iron Giant was more of a cell animated, and he did this really cool like painting. He kind of had this rusty look to him and stuff. It was really cool. Use some more shadows like I did on the other one. I don't do a lot of dark blacks. I used to, but I don't know, maybe now, I don't know if I'm just, you know, afraid it's going to be too much or whatever, but I just don't do much, really, a lot of dark blacks for whatever reason. I guess I'm, you know, since I don't color everything, but when I do color or shade something, then I guess I figure I'll add whatever extra shading and things like that at that point. But I do, I mean, I like artists like Mike Mignola, who does a lot of, you know, dark blacks and stuff. It just, maybe it's just intimidating for me that it's not going to look right for when I do it. I don't know. Let's see. There you go. So I don't know which one of these I should color, because I know should have time to color one, I think. But which one? I don't know. Probably Daenerys, since she's kind of the most, I think fan-wise, she's probably the one most people want to see. So, oh, I forgot, he's got a scar here. Don't want to miss out on that. All right, so there we go. And I'm going to shut this off for a second and get some markers out. Maybe we'll color one of these up. Okay, got the Copic markers out. Copic markers, however you want to pronounce it. Let's see if we can add some color to her. Trying to remember, just leave some white, that use some of the white on the page as her as the white spots. What am I saying? Just as part of the color, because I don't have white markers, so I need to leave some of that for that. So I'm starting with a really, really light. She's very fair-skinned. Probably should have put a dragon on her shoulder, huh? I really do want to go back to her, so we'll do something cool. We'll have to do like a cool pose with her later on or something, but these are just going to be sketch cards for now. Okay, let's go a little darker. So this one was, where, you guys can't see, can you see that? Yeah, the E00, which I think the E stands for earth tones, and 00's got to be like the lowest there is. So let's go up to a E11, and we'll do some darker, because this is going to be in shadow under the eyebrows. A little bit under the eyes. Some hair and hair, and then if this side is going to be a little more in shadow. Definitely under the chin. You're going to get a lot of shadow there. Under the nose, under the lips. Shoulder blades a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to go too crazy with her because she's so fair skinned. I don't too much. If I had to, oh, over the shoulders here. Can't forget with that. Whoa. And it looks like I'm looking at my camera, and I don't know, this is probably what you guys are going to see too, but it looks pretty. It looks a lot darker than actually it does in person, so that could just be the camera. So let's see, we want add some pink in here too, because she's on her cheeks and stuff. That might be too dark, but definitely her lips. We'll start with this. Under her eyes, some pink in there. Okay. I got a darker pink, but I think I'm worried that that might be too much over the eyes. I don't know. Let's see. Definitely want to do that on the lips. Probably should leave well enough alone on that one. And then, so she's got like platinum blonde hair. It's almost like, I don't know, but she's got darker eyebrows because I don't think she's actually blonde in real life. So I could have probably done the eyebrows just in black, but kind of little heavy eyebrows, dark with that blonde hair. So let's see. Okay, the eyes. Pretty sure they're blue. From the picture I have is kind of a little small, but all right. Well, while I got the blue out, let's do her dress in blue. This is the season I'm watching. This is kind of, so far this has been the dress she's wearing, so that's the one I picked. But she's, you know, got different outfits. Some are more beige and stuff, but the blue, I kind of like the blue. It kind of brings out her eyes. So it's a little darker blue on the show, but I'm limited to the markers I have. That'll do. And there's also some designs and stuff on the dress, but for a sketch card, I'm not too concerned about that. She's got this dragon tooth, which, let me see here. Let's start with the brownish color. Go in here. And what else? What else? Her hair, of course. Now this is the. This I gotta be real careful about because, like I said, it's like so almost white, like platinum blonde. So I'm gonna be real conservative and just do a little bit of yellow, not too much. Leave a lot of that white in there. That's probably enough right there. I don't want to do too much more than that. So yeah, so we'll do a little color to pop her out, but I'm wondering what exactly. Maybe she's a lot of times she's out in the desert, so maybe more of a sandy color. So here's a brown. Let me see if there's a lighter one. It's a little lighter. Let's see what I got. Yeah, I like this one. This one's a little bit lighter. I like to leave a little bit of a white around her. Sometimes I'll do that with the white pen, which I'll probably still do, but just give myself a little head start by adding some white around it already. Let me switch around to the chisel tip for this one. I don't use that as much as I should. I should, because you can really get, I mean you can get, like, let's see if I gotta, you can see, you can get real nice thin lines with that chisel tip. You can do a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I mean, most of the markers I have, you know, that's the tip that they have. That's the only tip they have is the chisel one. So, but I kind of got away from that, I guess. See, I keep saying I'm gonna get another one of these gel pens, and I don't. I just ordered some art supplies. They were supposed to be here yesterday from Amazon. Yeah, Amazon Prime's usually pretty good about getting them on time, but they didn't come, so I don't know. So this is what I was talking about. I just like to go over do a little outline with the gel pen. It's not really that obvious, but, and I by no means came up with this technique. I mean, I've seen a lot of other artists use it, but I just kind of stole it or adopted it. All right, and we want to add, last of all, add a little highlights on the eyes. Any other highlights? Not really. Maybe on the lips a little. So that'll about do it for Game of Thrones sketch cards. I'm also going to color these ones, but I won't do them on the video. But what I'll probably color them, and I'll pop them up on my Instagram. So if you aren't following me on Instagram, if you want to check those out, it's just CirqueWorks on Instagram. But there you go. That concludes another Fan Art Friday. Thanks for liking and commenting and following along and subscribing, or all those different things. So I will be back. I'll probably do another update on my 100 days, what I'm doing with that, my post 100 days, and then be back on Friday with some more sketch cards. But if you have any ideas of stuff you want to see, let me know. Just drop it in that little YouTube comment section, and I'll check it out. Or if you have any questions or anything, or any advice, whatever, just let me know. All right? That is all.